Alright, this is cheese. Sorry about that. I had a little bit of an episode. Anyway, this is going to be a bit of a different kind of talk. One of my favourite worlds I love is the Elder Scrolls. And I have listened to a lot of lore about the Elder Scrolls. And so if you're interested, please watch this video. I'm going to talk about one of my favourite beings in this setting. Sheogorath. Now, Sheogorath is the Daedra of insanity. Now, this is reflected in his realm of oblivion. He has two sides to this realm. Mania and, I believe, dementia. Both of these show off the different sides of insanity, the happiness and the sadness. And these things, when it comes down to it, this little realm is one of my favourites, and there's a reason why I still would love to get the remaster, as I had to sadly sell my original copy of the PlayStation 3 version of Oblivion. But it does not mean that I can't try and find something again. Either way, though, he shows up at his shrines and usually will give you an aspect of himself known, I believe, as the Warberjack. The Warberjack is just a staff, but the staff does literally anything. It could turn your enemy into a sweet roll. Or it could turn your enemy into a fire-breathing dragon that instantaneously destroys your being and form. But with this being said, this is the effect of Sheogorath. He brings insanity wherever he roams. And so in the Elder Scrolls Oblivion, you help him and actually become him. And over time as well, you help separate him from another being. The other side of him, Jyggalag. Jyggalag was actually created by the other Daedra, only for the fact of that because Sheogorath was such an insane being, his power was also tremendous. Tremendous enough to destroy the other Daedra. And so they essentially gave him a shackle.